today we'll be having flexural members. Okay, so under flexural members, we have the allowable tensile stress, and this tensile stress is a function of its Fy, which is 0.6 of Fy whenever we have a cross area failure. Then it may be 0.5 of Fu if it's on net area failure. So basically, the allowable tensile stress of any steel materials are a function of its property Fy and Fu. Now, for compression, we have that capital Fa. And based from our code, the capacity of compression member usually depends on its slenderness ratio, KL over R. Knowing that KL over R, comparing it with the critical slenderness ratio, we can identify the compression member either intermediate or low volume. Okay? These two are considered as actually loaded. Okay? Now, when it comes to flexural members, these are good for the design and analysis for beams. So our objective for today is to come up with allowable bending stress, capital F. Actually, this allowable bending stress would be a function of its yield strength of Fy. Okay? So how are we going to determine the capital FB? Okay, so this is how we do it. First thing is, we have to classify the steel cross-section into these three. It may be classified as compact section, non-compact section, or slender element section. Okay? So for the usual cross-section of beam, let's say we have the white flange cross-section. Okay, so this is a cross-section. This cross-section consists of three elements. Okay, the upper flange, the lower flange, and the web. So those are the three elements. Okay, for us to have a compact section, all of its elements should be compact. Among these three classifications, of course, we want to have the first classification, which is the compact section. Because of course, compact sections will have higher capacity compared to the other two. And the least would be the third classification, which is the slender element section, meaning to say each of its elements are considered slender. And whenever steel sections are classified under this third category, we don't want to use this type of cross sections. Okay? Or it will have lesser capacity. So basically, for steel beams, we prefer using these first two classifications, compact and non-compact. Now, most of the cross sections that we have are standard. Meaning to say, when I say standard, these are the sections found from the steel manual. The white flange sections, the channel sections. Whenever we have these cross sections, most likely these cross sections will fall under compact sections. Okay? Of course, the manufacturers won't be manufacturing, don't want to manufacture such sections which are non-compact, for it will have lesser capacity. So again, most of the cross sections that we have in the steel manual are considered as compact sections. Now, where can we find non-compact sections? Okay, non-compact sections may be possible for built-up sections. Right, so built-up sections. Now, from the code division that we have from NSCP as well as NSCP states from the AISC, so we're based on American code, we have these equations for us to check the compactness of the cross section. For us to have a compact section, each of its elements should be compact. Okay, so we have here the compact section. The first equation is for compression flanges of an I section and channel section. If this equation is satisfied, meaning to say that our compression flanges would be compact. Now for this case, where will be the compression flange? Where will be the compression flange? Actually, it depends on the beam. Let's say this section is used as a simply supported beam. for simply supported beam, we all know that this will give a positive moment. So for positive moment, where is the compression side of the beam? So on the top, while on the bottom, it will be tension. So for this case, this would be the compression flange, while this would be the tension flange. Okay? So to check the compactness of this compression flange, it should be satisfied. Okay, PF over twice TF should be less than or equal to 170 over square root of Fy. So basically, these are the dimensions and property or the yield strength of the steel. Okay? Now, what about for the web part? Right, for the web part, so this is the equation. Depth D over T, thickness of the web, should be less than or equal to 1680 over square root of Fy. So again, this is for webs, inflectional compression. Now, if this equation is satisfied, therefore you have a compact flange. Let's say the second equation is also satisfied, therefore you have a compact web. Since you have a compact flange and you have a compact web, therefore you have a compact cross section. Okay? Now, what if one of these or even both of these are not satisfied? What can you say about the cross section? Okay, if one of these or even both of these are not satisfied, therefore the section is not compact. Not compact as in N-O-P. So we cannot consider that the section is compact. Or I'm not saying N-O-N, non-compact, because if it's a non-compact section, it may be a non-compact or even a stable element. So we need to check for the corresponding equations for non-compact and for slender element. And that would be these equations. Okay, again, for BF over twice BF, if it is less than or equal to 280 over square root of Fy, again, if this is satisfied, therefore, our compression flanges will be a non-compact. For the case of the web, the equation will now be H over TW less than or equal to 1995 over square root of Fy. The difference of this equation from the previous one, as you can see, are the constants. And for the web, instead of having D, we have H. Okay, what is H? Depth D is the overall height or depth of the section, while H is this. Actually, H is just equal to the depth minus twice the thickness of the flange. Okay, so that is basically H. Now, if one of these or both of these are not satisfied, automatically the section will now fall under slender element section. Okay, so this will be, that will be possible whenever this becomes greater than. It becomes greater than, of course, this will fall under slender element section. Again, when the section is set to be slender element section, we discourage to use that type of cross section. So we have to improve, we have to replace the section. Right? So that is how we check the compactness of steel sections. Now, why is that important for us to check the compactness of the section? Okay, because the allowable bending stress of beams equations depends on the compactness of the section. This one. Allowable bending stress for an I section and channel section bend about their major axis. So I have this model. Let's say I have the white flat section. So let's say it's a simply supported beam. So we have supports at the ends. And considering gravity loads, we need to say they are vertically downward. So how will this section will bend against that gravity load? Of course, it will bend like this, right? So that will be bending about the x or the major axis. So what would be the capacity of this beam considering bending about its major axis? These are the equations. Right? These equations excludes whenever we have bending about its minor axis. Y-axis, minor axis. So this will be the direction of bending. So we have a different set of equations for bending about its minor axis. Okay? So for major axis, we have